Hey friend, okay, I am back again. I am Mary Hanley and I'm really excited to share with you the ditch and switch. Now, what does that mean and why is that important? So, when you are using everything in your house, all the things that are in your house, all the things like washing your clothes, washing your dishes, washing your body, washing your hair, all of these things have chemicals. Those chemicals can build up in your body and because it's called bioaccumulation. Now, when you're using it just one day, it's not a big deal. If you use it 550 days, then that's a big deal because over time is when you start seeing the effects of it. So, what are some things that you can see if you start having that bioaccumulation? It can be lethargic. It can show up in signs of like being emotionally imbalanced. You can have um, like constipation. You could have diarrhea. It can be in any huge form. Like it can be big, it can be small. It can be in the way that how your body's utilizing the food that you eat. It can be like you're just more tired. It can be um, just so many, just anything. If your body is not all like feeling exactly like you should, like on any given day, our body should be healthy and we should be able to do all the things we're supposed to do. We should be able to go to bed at night and sleep. We should be able to wake up in the morning. We should be able to walk around and not be in pain. Like that is a healthy state. We should be able to not feel the extreme emotional crazies of some days. And we really should not, as a woman, we really should not have these emotional crazy moments like we have during our PMS and during our cycles. Like that shouldn't even be a thing. Like it should be so very simple that that when our hormones are balanced, that we should just be balanced. But how many of us are that way? You know, how many of us are really truly like not having those weird moments during the month? Not very many of us. So when you start thinking about any given day, like if you're achy, if your joints are achy or whatever, we sometimes we want to say, oh well, it's just the weather, you know, or it's I'm tired or whatever. But like we shouldn't just be tired in the middle of the day. That should not just be a thing necessarily if our bodies are functioning in a good, healthy manner. So a lot of those things are coming because of the toxicity overload that is in our body, and our livers aren't able to break down, our kidneys aren't able to break down all of the things that need to be able to be filtered and to get rid of all the toxins that are there because we are so overloaded all the time. That's not a good thing. So we need to know exactly what we can do to change those effects. So let's first talk about what are some of those things that are that can cause problems. So a lot of times we use plug-ins and candles because we want the house to smell pretty. It's the ambiance, like it looks beautiful. So we want to put those things in the house, but those things are volatile organic compounds. Those are VOCs. That is can cause endocrine disruptors. That often contain synthetic fragrances. Can lead to reproductive and developmental toxicity, allergies, respiratory problems. Paraffin wax candles can emit toxin fumes when they're burned. It would be the same as like smoking a full pack of cigarettes when you burn a candle for 2 hours. That's a huge toxic load. That's bad. And you think about that you're breathing that in, so then that's like having secondhand smoke, which is even worse than like when you're lighting up yourself. So that's really scary when you think about it in those terms. When you put it, because many of us would be like, "Oh my goodness, I'm not going to smoke," but that's what we're doing. So what can we do that's different? What's something you could do to swap that out and to do something in a different way? So we could switch it and get a diffuser with some essential oils. Now, not all oils are created equal. Don't go buy oils from Walmart or from wherever. Actually go like research and find the oils that are completely chemical free and toxin free. Now we use Young Living. That is my favorite. I've researched. We've been doing this for about 10 years and I researched and looked at everything across the board. Now there are some companies out there that are clean and they have some really good standards and they've got some really good products. But Young Living has over 600 different products and they go from babies all the way to 150. Like it spans the every age, everything, all the stuff. A lot of the other companies do not have the span that Young Living has, and for it to be completely pure and clean is huge. We've actually been to the farms. I've gotten to actually see like how everything's grown and how it's put into the ground. They guarantee the seed to seal um, process that's from the seed all the way to your bottle that is completely sealed, that has not ever been touched with pesticides, it hadn't had any kind of chemicals on them, and they're completely pure. That is what I want. You know, if I'm going to go and spend the money on something, that's what I want to do. And a lot of times people act like they're really expensive, but they're really not. When you think about it per drop, you know, you've got 90 drops in a small bottle and you've got 300 drops in a bigger bottle. I mean, that's a lot. And they're about maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 or 15 cents per drop. And I know you're like, oh, wow, that could be expensive too. But you're only putting 5 or 10 drops into your diffuser at any given time. You're only going to put 1 drop on your skin at any given time. Even if you're making DIYs, like when I make my dish soap or my hand soap or whatever, you're putting 10 or 15 drops at a time. You're not breaking the bank. Like it's not, you're using it, but you're not overusing it, and you're not like going crazy all over the place. So that is what we do. Instead of doing the candles, we do our diffuser, and like every morning we'll get up and we'll put some in there, and we don't necessarily do it all day long, but usually if we're getting ready for school or starting to get going in the morning, I'll go ahead and put some in just to kind of like wake everybody up and get everybody feeling good. And because it really affects that limbic part of your brain, like you go in, you breathe it in, it affects that. That's where your emotional center is. So it can either affect you good or it can affect you bad. So we want to affect our limbic system good early in the morning. So we put good things and we put some oil in there that's going to make us happy and feel good. And then everybody wakes up in a good mood and everybody can do the work and do all the things. So that is what we do. It's completely pure, like I said, and doesn't have any kind of chemicals whatsoever. So what about perfumes? We want to ditch the perfumes and get rid of those kind of things, because there again, those chemicals can cause a lot of problems within our body. Those are hormone disrupting phthalates that are in our perfumes. They're typically synthetic fragrances. Now, like if you have the natural living class, we talk about it in there. The fragrance can be anything. Like it could be roses, which would be great, but it could be some kind of weird other word that you don't even know what it is and can't even pronounce it at all. But you don't know. You don't know because all it says is fragrance, and they don't have to disclose that. They don't have to tell you what the fragrance is. So when we look at fragrance, just know that when you see that word, that could be anything. That doesn't mean necessarily roses. It doesn't mean lavender or anything pretty. It means that they've made something in a factory and they've stuck it in there to make it smell pretty. That's dangerous because you don't know what that is. That could be anything. Lots of times those fragrances can be a wide range of like cancer causing things and hormone disruptors and all kinds of things. Often they use butane and propane as a propellant, which can cause headaches and breathing issues, which sounds so crazy to me when you think about perfume, that you're going to put propane in perfume. That just seems like the craziest thing. So when you're using, what can we switch that out for? We are going to switch to something that's going to be better. Now for me, I make my own perfume, which is so much fun and it's so easy. Like it takes me 5 seconds to make it. I'll take a bottle. Oh, I should have brought my bottle in here. Oh, left it yonder. But I'll use this kind of an example. This is just a little bottle. But you can use like this, just a regular little squirt bottle. I've got an actual perfume bottle. I've got one sitting in here. You can even make a roll-on if you would rather make a roll-on. Ow, that hurt. I can't really reach it. Okay, never mind. But anyway, you can get like an actual, like on Amazon, they have little perfume bottles that are really cheap, really cute. You can fancy it up. You can do as simple as you want to do it, whatever. But I actually have recipes, so I'm gonna put some recipes down below of some really good perfumes that are my most favorites. And you add a few drops of oil, and you put you can either use vodka or witch hazel, one of the two, and add a little bit of water. Now the vodka actually does better because it doesn't have any smell, but it also gives it, like, helps all the mixtures of the oils kind of mix together, and it just makes this beautiful smell. And it's really a better way to go. If you know, the witch hazel is fine, it works good and it's natural, so it's not hurting anything. But the vodka's actually does make the smell much better. um, this can also affect our olfactory receptors and activate regions in our limbic brain, which we were talking about a minute ago, like with your emotions, your memory, and how you're feeling, your state of mind. All of these things can be affected by using the perfumes when you're making them yourself. When you're using a really good product like using Young Living, it actually helps to boost that part of your brain and actually helps you to feel good when you're wearing it and not making you feel yucky or making your eyes run or water or whatever. The next thing is like a toothpaste. Now, so many times we use toothpaste, which we have to use it. I mean, we have to brush our teeth, but we don't always know what's in that stuff. So, in our regular toothpaste, triclosan is making it's an antibacterial, which can lead to allergies, hormonal issues, and even cancer. And so that even though it's antibacterial, it's also a chemical that is causing other issues. So you may be getting rid of some of the bacteria, but you're also adding some other things. One interesting thing about anytime we talk about antibacterial things like antibacterial soap and all of those kind of things, you have to be very careful with a lot of that stuff, because a lot of times it's killing the good and bad bacteria. We need the good bacteria in our body to be able to fight the bad bacteria, because too much bad eats up the good, and then you get yourself sick. And then that's when, like, yeast happens, and we end up with candida, which is yeast basically, but that just begins to take over our body. And that's when colds happen. That's when you get the flu, and you get all of these other things. So, like, when you use regular um, the squeezy stuff, like you're washing your hands all the time, like you're using antibacterial soap or whatever, or you use the little hand squeezy stuff, the hand stuff, fine. Those little prenatal things, or what they're called. Um, Whenever you're using those kind of things on your hands, that's killing your good and bad bacteria. That's not good for your body, because that's killing off everything, that's all the good things that are supposed to be fighting off the bad. And then you're just allowing so much more of that overgrowth of these nasty chemicals and these nasty germs to take over your body. And then we want to blame it on something else, when really we've just done it to ourselves, because we have used what they keep telling us to use, which is actually killing everything instead. So that's not a good thing. Toothpaste also contains artificial flavors and dyes, which can cause hyperactivity, increase inflammation, and disrupt our immune system. That's really bad too, because there again, if our immune system is down, then we get sick more often. We have a lot more problems coming up. And then typically our toothpaste also contains fluoride, which can have a negative effects on the brain and our central nervous system when we are ingesting it. So one thing that's bad is that, the government says, oh, you've got to have fluoride, it's a must, and all this stuff. Well, it's also causing a lot more damage than it is good, and we don't always want to talk about that. So that's great. So when we're using, like I said, we use Young Living. So Thieves is one of our lines of, like, all things antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti all the things, but it does not kill off the good bacteria. It only allows it to kill the bad bacteria that does not need to be there, allowing the good bacteria to ramp up and keep your immune system level and keep it where it needs to be, so that your body's able to do the function, the things the way it's supposed to. It does not contain fluoride, and it's free of SLS, parabens, phthalates, mineral oil, synthetic perfumes, dyes, artificial colors and flavors, and preservatives. A lot of times, now, one of the older toothpaste does not have a whole lot of foam, and so a lot of people get really upset because it doesn't have the foam. It doesn't bother me, but it bothers other people. So if you like the foam and that's like a must, then there's a newer one that has orange oil in it, which is good to help whitening your teeth, and also has a little more foam, which I think is funny. But it's also infused with essential oil, so it has actual thieves in it, which is also good to help keep your immune system boosted up and help balance out all of the different areas of our body to help us to feel good and to keep everything balanced. Contains naturally derived ingredients such as which gently removes surface stains while helping prevent tartar buildup, fights plaque, and supports your healthy gums. Let's see. Okay. One of the next things, I'm trying to make sure I don't skip anything, is our household cleaners. A lot of times, our cleaners, we go through and we clean our. Thought I had a book sitting here. I was going to look at something, and I don't think I got it. Well, fiddle. Okay. So thieves is one of those things that, like I said, it kills the bad bacteria, but allows the good bacteria to still be there, so we keep our immune system balanced. Thieves cleaner, which has thieves essential oil in it as well, that is so amazing to help build up our kills the bad bacteria, builds up the good bacteria, and then helps our immune system stay healthy. When you're using that, when your body is like used to, we got sick all the time. Like, I'm not kidding. When I say we were sick all the time, like we literally were at the doctor's office every week. Like, it was miserable. But when we'd have the virusy stuff, it was really, really gross and really horrible. And with 6 kids, it was like, I had to go through everybody, every single person. When you're like literally pulled mattresses out into the living room onto the floor because I was so exhausted having to like run to everybody's rooms, and I was getting sick too. So I just laid everybody out on the floor. Like, it's just the mattress, and like we all laid there. Like, I just had kids piled on me, and like everybody's like throwing up everywhere. Like, it was awful. It was like the worst year ever. When we started doing Young Living and using it regularly and really working on our immune system and working on our health better, that changed our life. It changed everything. And so, like, we still, you're going to get those colds, you're going to get those moments, those little germs are going to sneak in, but it is like a rarity. Like, we probably get sick maybe twice a year now. It is a rarity that we've had any kind of virus, like several years of not having a virus. That I absolutely hate worse than anything. I do not like to throw up. But, we'll get the occasional cold and flu, and during the pandemic we had COVID, but it was not near that bad. Like, it was just like we had a bad cold. It was not bad at all. But when you're using other cleaners, other household cleaners, they can irritate your skin, your eyes, your nose. Like, my throat would close up. Like, I can't use a regular cleaner at all. It just it makes me feel like I can't breathe. Like, it's just closing everything off. It is awful. And so, like, I always dreaded, like, I love to clean. I think that's so much fun, especially like if I'm stressed. Like, I stress clean a lot, so I'm just like running through the house. Wah! And so, like, when I'm doing that, like, I would like literally walk around like with a towel over my face because I could not like breathe it or function with that. And so now I don't. Now I can just spray everybody. I spray kids. I spray everything. I use one bottle. This one bottle is so concentrated. I can use a capful in an 8-ounce bottle, fill it up with water. I'll add a couple of other things, and depending on what I'm cleaning, then I use it on other things. Like, when you're cleaning the bathtub, you add some baking soda. Like, there's other things you do depending on what it is you're cleaning. But if I'm just doing my regular, like walking around cleaning counters and cleaning the potty and, your basic stuff like that, or if there's somebody spilled something or whatever and you're cleaning it up, like, that's super simple. Spray the bottle. So, like, I have an 8-ounce bottle that just always stays ready and always in there. and like 59 cents to make one bottle of cleaner. And I clean like windows, floors, um, like all the furniture and stuff, like everything. Like I clean everything. I spray the kids with it. Like it is the best thing ever, and I absolutely love it. So for $25, you buy the one big bottle, but you get, I don't even know how many bottles out of, like how many cleaning bottles that I get out of that, but it lasts me 4 or 5 months. Like you can't go and buy anything at the store and it be any better than that. It is so cheap because it's not like you're buying it every single month. I'm not spending $25 on a bottle every single month. Like I may, the bottle I have now, I think I've had since October or November, and I've still got probably about that much more still in the bottle. So it lasts. It lasts a really long time. Um, a lot of times when you're using regular cleaners, it can be highly poisonous to both humans and animals. You have to make sure that you're not closing your animals in with the cleaners. A lot of times I'll make that when I was using regular cleaners, I would make the kids go outside while I cleaned because like nobody could breathe. Everybody's coughing and everything. It was terrible. So I just said, go outside and be clean. Often they contain synthetic fragrances, which can lead to reproductive issues, allergies. Um, they may contain antibacterial ingredients that can encourage the development of drug-resistant superbugs, which is a whole nother issue. Because a lot of times, just like when we are using antibiotics a lot, our bodies get used to that. Our body looks at the makeup of this antibiotic and they're like, oh, I think I've seen this 500 times. And so it finally gets used to it. And then it develops into something new and you get a whole nother something. And then it becomes drug resistant. And the drugs, then you can't even use anything because your body has gotten accustomed to that and it already recognizes what was there. It's one great thing about Young Living. When you're using the oils, because they're completely pure, because they're being grown out in the earth and out in the sun and the rain and all of the things, you're getting all of those elements. So every time you get a batch and you get new bottles that are being made all the time. So every time, like you buy peppermint, you'll have this one bottle of peppermint, you'll go through it, you'll use it, then you get the next bottle of peppermint, even though the constituents are the same, like how it's made up is the same, but it's a slight difference because of, one set may have had more rain, one may have been a little bit more dry, it may have had, a lot more cold or hot or whatever. Like there's never ever the same exact way that it's being completely made up, so your body cannot get used to it. So that is one great thing. And so like a lot of times people say, well, it worked good for a while, but then it stopped working. That's when you need to use all of what's in the bottle. Now the bottles do not go bad at all. I don't ever throw a bottle of Young Living away. Now other companies, yes, you're going to throw those away because if they've got synthetics in them, then that's going to eventually go rancid and they're not going to work anymore, or they even dry up after they've been sitting for a while. But Young Living does not go bad because there's nothing else in there. It's just the oil, and the oil is living and it's alive, and so it's moving. Like those molecules are moving all in the bottle all the time. So when you're looking at this bottle of, say, peppermint, when you use it within a month, your body's like, okay, like I've used all that. After it prolongs for a little while, then it's kind of like, okay, whatever. It's going to have that same effect as, okay, I'm kind of getting used to this. Once you get the new bottle of peppermint, then your body's going to ramp back up. It's going to get better. It's going to do the things because you've gotten that new bottle. So don't ever throw the bottles away, but you may want to say, okay, I've used this peppermint bottle for a long time. That's why it's really good to just go ahead and use what you've got. Use what you've got. Use it in a month. Get you a new bottle and start over again. Like, we try to get so, like I don't want to use all of it because then I have to buy more. But, if you really want to take care of your body, you're going to have to do that to some degree. You really need to be able to use what you've got and bring in the new stuff, because you don't want your body getting used to it, because you want it to be constantly being able to feel good and to do what it's supposed to do and to have the energy that it needs to perform all the activities that you have to do every day. So just be aware that all the bottles are made a little, they're all the same. I mean, the like peppermint's all the same peppermint, but at the same time, the constituents may be just a touch different because of the air that it's been grown out in, which is good, and that's what we want. So, what is the plus things of thieves is of the cleaner or in the thieves oil, the same thing. Like you could, use the thieves oil. And sometimes, even when I run out of my cleaner, sometimes I'll just take thieves and put it into my bottle and use it that way and fill it with water. This provides an effective deep clean with the power of naturally derived plant-based ingredients. Its concentrated formula, it's easy to mix to create a variety of cleaning solutions for inside and outside. Like I said, I used to use it on everything and everybody, and like even the animals. It's safe to use around animals and pets as directed, and it's infused with the Thieves Essential Oil blend, which is super great, and it's my favorite. Next is our laundry soap. Now, I have used the laundry soap, but because I have 8 people in my house, um, I just can't really use it like they kind of, they say, because it's so concentrated. This is just one of my little hacks that I do. Because it's so concentrated, you don't have to use it just a tiny bit. In my mind, more is always better. So I have a really hard time being able to just pour a teeny tiny little bit into the little cup holder thingy. So what I do is I take the regular bottle, I split it up into 3 separate bottles. So like you can get like the big huge 16, or like no not 16 ounce, they're bigger, like the 32 ounce or whatever. So like split it into 3 32 ounce things. It may even be bigger than that. It's huge. It's in yonder, but it's huge. It's like a big bottle. Put like a third the thieves cleaner into 3 different bottles, and then I'll put like extra oil in it. Like I put orange because it smells really good. I'll put lemon in there. Be really careful though, if you've got like if you're using glass bottles, that's fine. Do not put lemon in plastic. Lemon will actually pull the toxins out of the plastic, which of course then if that goes into your body, that's not going to do you a bit of good to have the lemon, because lemon is very detoxing. So it will pull anything and everything out of your body, which is great if that's what you're going after. But it will also pull that out of the plastic too. So if you put it in plastic, it's going to pull it out. It will actually like eat the plastic up, and then will shrivel it up and like eat holes in it. Like it's really bad. So do not put it in plastic. You can put it in metal or glass or something like that. Something that can be cleaned really, really well. But plastic you can't clean enough to get the toxins out of it. So put it in glass or metal, and that would be perfectly fine. So if you use the big glass bottles, then that's fine. But you could even use like a pickle jar or something like that, like a big pickle jar. But split it up into thirds, fill it with water, and then I add other oils into it, like lemon, thieves, orange. I usually put about 10 or 15 drops of each in, and usually use 2 or 3 different oils. Just whatever you think smells good. You can put lavender in there if you want to, like whatever like smells good to you. Just add that into it, and that way you're getting all the concentration, but you're taking out the concentrate necessarily, like you're going ahead and mixing it up. It just makes it easier for me because I start getting I'm like, that can't possibly do anything if I'm only putting that little tiny bit in there. So I feel like I need more than that. So I mix it all up, shake it really good, stir it really well, and then I just use like my regular stuff. So that's my little hack for you today. You're welcome. So the bad things about like regular clothes detergent, for one thing, when you got your clothes up against your body all day long, your body is seeping and soaking up all of those chemicals that are in your clothes every day. When that happens, it's affecting your hormones. It's an endocrine disruptor. All these things. Like I know that I feel like a broken record because I keep saying the same things over and over again. Endocrine disruptors, hormones, like all of those things. But that's what it's doing. Your immune system, your respiratory system, it's affecting each one of those kind of things. The sodium lauryl sulfate can inflame the skin and eyes and lungs and damage your internal organs. That's that, like when it's that really strong fragrance that you smell sometimes, like after you've washed your clothes, in the regular stuff, like it's really strong. And I know sometimes it's like, oh, that smells so good, that's great, and that's the smell that you want, but that's actually very bad. Like that is, it can be damaging to your lungs, your organs, and all kinds of things. It can also even cause nausea and dizziness, headaches. So sometimes, like if you've got a headache, think about that. Think about it may be possibly what you're washing your clothes in. There's a lot of cleaners, clothes detergents that I can't use at all. That I don't know why about them are worse. Like some of them are all basically the same, but I don't know why there's some of them that are worse than others. Typically, they contain optical brighteners, which is an eye, skin, and lung irritant, and it typically contains synthetic fragrance, which can lead to sensitivities and allergy reactions and rashes, which is what happens to me most of the time because I'm very, very sensitive to all of those kind of things. So the Thieves Cleaner clothes detergent is it's free from all the dyes, all the petrochemicals, all the formaldehyde, the synthetics, all the perfumes, the chlorine, and all that optical brightness and everything. It contains natural enzymes that combat dirt, stains, and strong odors. It's formulated with gentle plant-based cleaners that are safe for sensitive skin, and it's infused with Young Living, the Thieves essential oils. So that's really huge. The last thing is the synthetic fragrance lotions. That's really important because there's so many times that we put these lotions on our body and we really think that it shouldn't be really that big of a deal, but it really is because there again, these can cause rash and skin irritations and all kinds of things, but it can also have parabens, which can cause significant issues in your body and build up and cause the hormone issues and cause your liver to not be able to do all the things it's supposed to do and to get rid of those toxins that are there. And the fragrance, of course, we go back to fragrance yet again because they don't regulate the fragrance. So, we don't really know what that means. Like it could be anything. Those are very harsh chemicals and could lead to any kind of issue, cancer included. May contain PEGs, which can cause skin irritations and severe hypertensive activity reactions. So Young Living has several different lotions that all feel really good. This one is my favorite. Now this is a seedlings. This is actually a baby lotion, but it feels so good. Like it doesn't leave your hands feeling greedy or grimy or anything. Now I make my own body butter for the most part. I've got some over there, but it's a little bit thicker. They do have a body butter and it's great too, but you can make it for like dirt cheap and it's like costs nothing. So if you want to know more about like making your own DIYs and things like that, I've got another training on that and doing some DIY things. So that's super fun. It is like the best. So love making DIY things because it's so very easy. It's very cost effective. It really stretches your oils out. It really stretches how you take care of your body and how you're taking care of your family. Because if you're making shampoo that's going to be something that's going to last longer, that's going to be great. That's what you want to do. Like we've got 8 people, so if I can make shampoo that's going to last a lot longer time, then let's do that. Let's do all the things. It's going to cost way less. You're going to feel like, oh, but I'm having to pay this. No, but we're not going to buy that again for months. Like just like the dish. Like the clothes detergent. When you split it up into those 3 bottles, like you won't have to buy clothes wash for 3 months. Like it's the best. So for $30, that's like $10 a month on your clothes detergent. That's huge because we usually go through that's for us. Now like for a normal family of 4, it may last 6 months because like I literally wash clothes a lot, probably 3 or 4 times a day. So for us it can last 3 months. So depending on how many people you have in your house, it could last way longer, and which is great. But that's very cost effective. So like if you only have 4 people and it's it lasts you 6 months, then you're paying like $5 a month on clothes detergent. So very, very cost effective. You can't get better than that at all. So but the lotions, the Young Living lotions, are formulated without parabens, sulfates, phthalates, all of those things, all the phthates, and It's got very moisturizing plant-based ingredients, so it feels so very good to your skin. It helps your, they don't feel greasy, it don't leave that residue or anything like that. We also have tons of supplements. Now, supplements are going to be in a whole another class of its own. So I was going down through my notes, and supplements is on here, but supplements is a whole nother class because there's many of them, and there's like, it's the most amazing thing. So like your body, when you go to like Walmart or Target or wherever and you buy the vitamin D off the shelf, or you buy I don't know, whatever other vitamins I don't even know what they're called or like what kind of they have anymore, because we use all of these. So when you go and buy those off the shelf, you take them, your body only absorbs about 30% of that actual supplement, whatever that may be, whatever vitamin it is or whatever, which typically, like they say, that's a really great absorption rate because, like, at least your body's absorbing something, because it's going to, depending on what kind of food you have eaten. Some are oil based, some are fat based, some are water based. Like your body absorbs better if you've eaten something with fat in it, or your body absorbs better if you've drank a bunch of water or whatever. So like everything has to align for your body to absorb more. Like it all has to work together and do a certain thing. You have to hold your mouth just right for you to be able to absorb a little bit more. But with the Young Living supplements, because of how they're made, and it has oils infused. Now the oils, when it makes the oils so amazing, and there again, I can't talk, I can't vouch for any other oils because I only know Young Living. But from a Young Living standpoint, they can get to the brain, through the brain, blood-brain barrier, which means that it's getting deeper into the cells, it's getting deeper into your body to do better and really work and affect those different parts of your body more. So when it gets into that, crosses that blood-brain barrier, then your body is able to do more with what you put there, and you in the good. So like if you're drinking water, like every time you use an oil, you need to drink tons of water to flush out all the toxins, because it's going to start breaking everything down and start getting rid of it. So do as much water as possible. Just flush all of that out as best as you can. One thing that's great is that they infuse all of the supplements with different essential oils that goes along with that particular supplement. So like if it's a fat soluble or if it's a water soluble, whatever type it is that it needs, then those oils are going to help do whatever that thing is. So when you take them, it doesn't matter like what kind of foods you've had or done all the things or whatever, your body's going to absorb 80% of that. So that is huge. Like that to me is like the biggest wow thing ever. We've actually gotten to where we use probably a lot more supplements than we do oils most of the time anyway. I still love my oils, and like I use my diffusers every day and stuff like that, but I usually have that just strictly for the diffusers. So I really enjoy that more. So just think about some of those things. Think about like as you're going through your day, like when you're using the candle, like how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel any different? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't feel any different at all. Maybe you feel perfectly fine and it's not really that big of a deal. Maybe you don't see any effect. But are you waking up in the morning feeling really good? Are you staying feeling really good in the middle of the day? Are you getting tired in the middle of the day? Are you feeling do you have a headache just randomly, like for no reason whatsoever? Or when you're smelling the fumes from cleaning the house, are those things affecting how you're breathing or how you're feeling at that moment? Think about all of those things. Like sometimes we don't even think about it. We do it because that's what we've always done and we don't know any different. But when we know different, we do different, and we do better. And so like that's what we want to achieve. We want to help people to achieve that better lifestyle and feel different, because I know how it feels to live on that other side of feeling depleted and not having any ability to even function, and just aching all over, my entire body hurting so bad and not being able to really get out of the floor because it hurt so bad and I was just so miserable. And so I was there, and that was horrible. But once I realized what was affecting my body, that I was just had that bioaccumulation was so bad, that once I started cleaning all that out and I started making these strides to really clean up the things that we were eating, taking care of our bodies better, and putting things on our bodies and in our bodies that was going to affect them in a different way, it changed everything. So it's not about like using one, if somebody says, well, what's the one thing that you couldn't do without? Like, I don't really know what I would say, because everything has its place. Because while we need to pay attention to what we're eating, we need to pay attention to how we're moving our body and actually exercising and things, we need to pay attention to all of the stuff that's going on our body and in our body. Like, we have to think about all of that stuff, but at the same time we have to also, we want to be aware of of what we can do that's different, and really taking care of our bodies in a different way. So I just, I can't imagine what life would be like now, um, had we not ever started using Young Living or started really taking care of our bodies in a different way, and our kids, because it's been dramatic. It's very, very dramatic. I had one had asthma really bad, and she was constantly having to use her inhaler, and it was just an all the time thing. And in about 6 months, she was off the inhaler, and she didn't have to have it anymore. I have one that has epilepsy, and she was constantly having seizures, and she was on 7 medications, and we went from 7 medications to one. Huge, huge. So, I mean, when we talk about taking care of our bodies, and I mean, like, I was the biggest skeptic ever when it came um, to chemicals, and I'm not a real crunchy mama, really. I mean, like, I still, like, we eat McDonald's and stuff like that, which is horrible for you and it's bad, but like, if we're in a hurry, like, that's what happens. And, like, we're not like over the top crazy about it, but at the same time, I'm going to do what I need to do to take care of my family. And when I saw the very first weekend of realizing that everything that we were doing, just in the course of 2 or 3 days, how that had affected their colds. I mean, like, just simple cold, but they felt better in 2 days. Like, typically they were a week, 2 weeks, and we were going to the doctor, and we'd have fevers and all the things. And in 2 days, the fevers were gone, and they were running around and happy, and the coughs were gone. I mean, like, crazy, crazy, crazy. That was not normal at all. And so I knew that there had to be a different thing. I knew that something, whatever this was doing, was doing something great, and I was willing to try that. And so, like, we've never looked back. So if you're dealing with some things, like, I promise you, there's something that I can help you with. I'm also a functional nutritionist, so using both of those things together, it really makes a difference in how we can take care of our bodies. And there's a lot of things we can look at. If you're not really sure what exactly, like, you may know that you have diabetes, but you're not really sure, like, what do I really need to do about this? Like, the doctors give us medicine, but that's all they know. That's their point of knowledge. But we can do things that can help you in so many ways, like using food to help heal our bodies, and using things like the essential oils and the supplements to be able to heal your body in a different way without having to go the route of the chemical filled nastiness. We've just heard so much about in the recent about the metformin, which is really not good for our bodies at all. So we want to be able to take that down and get rid of it. Like, there's no reason. Like, I healed my own diabetes trek. So I know that can happen. I know it's a thing to do. And it's amazing when you can kind of step aside from that and be able to go on a different direction. So there's a lot of things that we can do. A lot of things I can help you do to change how your direction your body may be going at the moment, that we can turn around and change. So please let me know if there's anything I can do for you, if there's anything that you need help with, that we can do. So Don't ever hesitate to ask. So down below there is a link that is number one link is going to be a list of these items that you can go look at. You can place order if you want to try them out. You don't have to order all of them. You just pick and choose, get one or two things, and just see what you think and see how it makes you feel, and kind of like begin doing. I call it the three cabinet challenge. You go look at all of your labels and see what if there's things that you can actually pronounce. See how many ingredients there is. If there's 50 ingredients on that bottle, or 15 ingredients on the bottle, that's too many, and that's probably not even remotely good at all. So don't do that. Don't use that at all. So take those things away. So trade. I mean, that's your simplest first step that you can take, is to change out those thieves cleaner. Like, get rid of all of your cleaning supplies and get thieves cleaner. Like, that could be the easiest first step ever that you can make for your family, and that's $30 for like or $25 for 6 months. I mean, like, or not, like, it's going to last that long. It's going to last for 6 months, and you've only put an investment of $25 in. So that's huge. So grab that link below, go check all that stuff out, and see if there's anything you want to just try, and see if you want to delve in that direction a little bit. And then also there is another link. Number two link is it's called a digital wellness scan. If you have some issues going on in your body and you really need to get some answers, and you're not really sure what to do, and you've got some things like inflammation, or like I said, diabetes or weight loss, or any of these things, any kind of issue that you've got going on that you would like some help with, then we can do this wellness scan. It will give me a lot of information about your body and what's going on, and I can help you create a plan that will help you move into a better direction with your eating, with your lifestyle, and everything. And then the number three link is also a clarity call. So if you have some issues, you want to do the scan too, but you also want to have maybe a 15 or 20-minute call just to kind of like pick my brain and like go over some things that may be good for you, then that's below too. So any or all of those things are available to you. So just grab any and all of them, and I will talk to you very soon. I'm so excited to be able to help you and to be able to move along this journey with you, because there's so much that we can do to be healthy and keep our bodies happy and doing all of the things that we're supposed to be able to do every day. So I cannot wait to get to know you, and I will talk to you soon.